Hey, and welcome to this episode of Matched Betting Uncovered, brought to you by Profit Duel.
It is so great to be here.
I was looking at some numbers this morning,
Mm.
and the stats on the whole side hustle economy are they're pretty wild right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It feels like everyone I know, literally everyone, is looking for that second stream of income, whether it's driving for a rideshare, selling stuff online, trading crypto. You know, everyone wants that extra cushion.
Right.
And right at the top of the food chain, arguably the heavyweight champion right now, is match betting. I mean, it's hit the U.S. shores, it's live in over 26 states, and it is moving fast.
It really is moving fast. It's interesting because this has actually been a staple in Europe for over a decade, specifically the UK.
Yeah.
So it's not really new technology or even a new concept, but the application of it in the U.S. market is creating this massive wave. People are realizing they can unlock consistent income right from their sofa without needing a second degree or a car.
Right. But I think we need to pump the brakes for just a second here.
Okay.
Because usually, when we hear the words guaranteed profit and sports betting in the exact same sentence, the scam alarm starts ringing loud.
Understandably so.
Yeah. And we've established in previous deep dives that the math works. It's not magic, it's math. But the problem, and this is really the mission of our discussion today, is that you can't just go out there and bet on absolutely anything.
That is the crucial point. That is exactly it.
I was reading through our latest guides on Profit Duel, and it turns out not all sports are created equal for this.
Okay.
If you just treat this like regular gambling.
Which you shouldn't.
Right. If you're just picking the team with the coolest jersey,
Yep.
or the one you grew up watching, or the one with the funny mascot, you're going to run into serious trouble.
You absolutely will. Think of this deep dive effectively as a map through a minefield.
A minefield.
Yeah.
That feels a bit dramatic for sports betting, doesn't it?
Well, think about the stakes here. The whole pitch of matched betting is that we are removing the risk. We aren't gambling. We are using math to extract those bonuses.
Right.
But that guarantee relies on mathematical certainty. If you choose the wrong sport, you lose that certainty completely.
Gotcha.
Suddenly, you aren't match betting anymore, you're just regular gambling. And if you're gambling with money you fully intended to hedge, you are walking through a minefield blindfolded.
Okay, fair point. When you put it exactly that way, I definitely want the map.
Good.
So let's remove the blindfold for everyone listening. The core question we're tackling is actually pretty simple. If I'm a learner sitting at home wanting to turn those promo offers and bonus bets into real cash safely, where do I look? Do I look at the gridiron, the basketball court, the racetrack?
The golf course.
Right, where do we go?
And the answer might actually surprise you, because popularity does not equal profitability in this specific game. Just because everyone in the country is watching a sport doesn't mean you should be matched betting on it.
So before we get into the specific sports, the green lights and the red lights, we need to establish the ground rules. Our team emphasizes a rule of thumb, a golden rule for matched betting in the U.S. What is that?
The golden rule is the binary outcome.
Binary, like computers, ones and zeros.
Exactly like that. You need a sport with only two possible outcomes, a winner and a loser.
Okay.
That is it. If there is even a sliver of a possibility of a third outcome, the math breaks down entirely.
I really want to drill down on this because our research makes a massive deal about the difference between the U.S. and Europe here. Why does this two-outcome rule matter so much specifically for us in the States?
It all comes down to the actual mechanics of how we hedge our bets. To understand this, you kind of have to look at how Europe does it first. In the UK, they have these things called betting exchanges.
Okay, and for those who haven't listened to our previous deep dives, an exchange is different from a regular sports book. How?
Well, sportsbook is you versus the house. The house sets the odds, you take them. An exchange is you versus other people. On an exchange, you can place what's called a lay bet.
A lay bet, that's betting against something happening.
Correct. You are effectively acting as the bookie yourself. You are betting on Team A not to win. Now think about that phrasing. If I bet on Team A not to win, what outcomes does that actually cover?
Well, it's played out. If Team B wins, Team A didn't win. So you win the bet.
Right. And if they tie...
Team A still didn't win, so you still win the bet.
Exactly. A lay bet automatically covers the loss and the draw. It's a catch-all safety net. But here is the major problem. In the U.S., traditional sportsbooks do not offer that lay option. We just don't have high liquidity exchanges in most states yet.
So we're kind of playing with one hand tied behind our backs.
In a way, yes. To hedge a bet here, to cover all your bases, we have to use a strategy that mirrors Dutching, even for really simple games. You place a back bet on Team A to win at DraftKings, for example, and a back bet on Team B to win at FanDuel.
So you're manually covering both sides. You're betting on everyone to win.
Precisely. Now, imagine a sport where a tie is possible, like soccer.
Yeah.
You bet on Team A to win at one book. You bet on Team B to win at the other. What happens if they tie?
Well, I bet on Team A to win. They tied, so I lost that ticket. I bet on Team B to win. They tied, so I lost that ticket too.
You lose both bets.
Ouch. Yeah, that is painful.
That is the danger of the draw. In the U.S. system, because we are betting on winners rather than betting against losers, the draw is a trapdoor.
Wow.
If a tie is possible and you haven't covered it, which becomes very expensive to do with 3 outcomes, by the way, the guaranteed profit strategy just collapses, you've lost your liquidity and you've likely burned your bonus bet for nothing at all.
So the golden rule isn't just a polite suggestion. It's the structural beam holding the whole house up. If a tie is possible, the system breaks.
That is the fundamental constraint we are working with here.
All right, so that's the theory. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the green light sports. These are the ones where we can go full speed ahead. And I guess we have to start with the big one. Football.
The NFL and college football, absolutely.
I mean, it is the nation's most loved sport. The stats say something like 74.5% Americans watch it. It's the king. But I do have to challenge you on this binary rule for a second.
Okay, go for it.
Football games can end in a tie. It happened just last season. I remember sitting there watching overtime tick down and thinking, is this really going to end with no winner?
It does happen. You are right. But we have to look at the probabilities. If we look at the data we've analyzed, a tie in the NFL is statistically incredibly rare. We're talking maybe once a year out of upwards of 270 regular season games.
So it's a calculated risk. We're just hoping it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because that honestly doesn't sound like guaranteed profit to me.
It's better than hope. This is where the specific rules of U.S. sportsbooks actually save us.
Okay.
In the unlikely event of a tie in the NFL, most reputable sportsbooks, the ones you'd be using for these promos anyway, treat a tie on the money line as a push.
A push. Define that for the listener who might be new to the terminology.
A push means the bet is simply voided. It's like the game never happened. The sportsbook refunds your original stake entirely.
So you don't win, but you don't lose.
Exactly. You get your money back. So let's say you hedged a game that ends in a tie. You get your money back from Book A, and you get your money back from Book B. You haven't made a profit, but you haven't lost your principal either. It's a safe zone.
That's a huge relief.
Yeah.
So even though the tie technically exists in the rule book, the sportsbook rules neutralize the danger. Okay, so football is a green light. What about the runner-up in popularity? Basketball.
Basketball is, in my opinion, the perfect sport for matched betting.
Why is it better than football?
Because the binary outcome isn't just a sportsbook rule, it's written into the actual rules of the game itself. If the buzzer sounds in an NBA game and the score is level, what happens?
They go to overtime.
And if they are still tied after that?
Double overtime. Then triple overtime.
Exactly. They keep playing until someone wins. There is physically no way for an NBA game to end in a draw. Someone always walks off that court a winner, and someone walks off a loser.
Right.
For matched betting, that is pure gold. You never have to worry about a push or a voided bet. One of your tickets will definitely win.
And our guides mentioned something else about basketball that caught my eye. It's not just about the rules of the game, right? It's about the volume.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the NFL schedule. Games are mostly on Sundays, maybe a Monday or Thursday night. If you miss Sunday, you're waiting a whole week for the next batch. The NBA, there are games every single night.
Yeah.
And because there is so much inventory, the sports books are constantly competing for your attention.
Which means promos.
Massive promos. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets on any NBA game. Because the games are so frequent and the outcome is strictly binary, it's potentially the most profitable sport because you can churn through offers much faster than waiting for Sunday football. You can technically match bet every single night of the week.
I love that combination. Safe, frequent, and lucrative. Okay, moving on the list, we've got ice hockey.
Another solid green light. Similar to basketball, the nature of the sport prevents a tie. They go to overtime, then a shootout. Someone gets the W. It lends itself very well to the strategy.
And baseball. Same
exact story. No ties allowed in MLB. You place a wager on the Yankees at one book, the Red Sox at another. You have covered 100% of the possible outcomes. It is mathematically safe. Plus, like basketball, the sheer number of games, 162 in a season, means endless opportunities.
Okay, now this next one is my absolute favorite example from our research. Tennis.
Tennis is a fantastic example of the binary rule in action.
Because, again, 2 players, no draws. But we found this incredible story to prove just how far the sport will go to avoid a tie. Do you remember the Wimbledon match from 2010?
Isner versus Mahut.
Yes. John Isner and Nicholas Mahut. I remember hearing about this on the news. It lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes.
Spread over 3 days.
3 days. Just because they had to find a winner. They couldn't just call it a day and say, good game, guys, let's call it a draw.
And that is the aha moment right there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how exhausted the players are. Tennis will never leave you with a tie result that ruins your hedge. That 11-hour match is the ultimate proof that tennis is a safe haven for matched bettors.
I can just imagine those guys, barely able to stand, serving back and forth, and the match bettors sitting at home sipping coffee going, great, my hedge is still safe. Keep going, boys.
Well, ideally, you want the match to end sooner so you can unlock your cash and move on to the next offer.
It's true, true.
But yes, from a risk perspective, you were perfectly fine. The system held up.
So we've got our safe list. Football, basketball, hockey, baseball, and tennis. Those are our friends. Now cue the ominous music. We need to talk about the red light sports, the ones to actively avoid. And honestly, this first one shocked me because of how big it is globally.
Which one?
Soccer.
Ah, yes. The beautiful game.
Our data shows soccer is the #1 matched betting sport in Europe. It's the absolute king over there. But here in the U.S., it's a no-go.
It is a hard no. And this goes back to that third outcome we discussed earlier.
The draw.
Precisely. In the NFL, a tie is a freak occurrence. In soccer, it's a fundamental part of the game. In the Premier League, for example, roughly 1 in 4 matches ends in a draw. That is 25%.
That is a massive statistical probability.
It's huge. If you are betting on a soccer match here in the U.S. using a standard money line, you are usually betting on what's called a 3-way market. You can bet home win, away win, or draw.
So if I'm trying to hedge, and I bet on the home team at Book A and the away team at Book B,
you have left the draw completely uncovered. That is 25% of the possible outcomes where you lose your money on both sides.
and we can't just bet on the draw as a third bet.
You technically can, but now you are placing 3 separate bets to cover one single event. The margins get eaten up by the sportsbook's vig or their fee. The math rarely works out to give you a profit. You end up losing money just trying to stay safe. It entirely defeats the purpose.
And because we can't lay the bet like they do in Europe,
We are stuck. In Europe, they can simply bet Team A will not win, and that one bet covers the draw automatically. We cannot do that easily here. So, despite its popularity globally for a U.S. matched bettor, especially a beginner, soccer is a trap. You just have to avoid it.
that is such a crucial distinction. It really shows why you can't just copy-paste a strategy from one region to another without understanding the rules. Okay, what about golf? Golf is huge here. 7th most popular sport.
Golf is a nightmare for matched betting.
Nightmare. But there are no ties in the tournaments usually.
The problem isn't the tie, it's the field size. Think about the variables. In a tennis match, you have 2 players. In a football game, 2 teams. In a golf tournament, you have dozens, sometimes 150-plus players.
Right.
To match bet, you need to cover all outcomes. If you bet on Scottie Scheffler to win, who is the other side of that bet?
Everyone else.
Exactly, the field. But very few sportsbooks let you bet on the field with odds that actually make sense for matched betting. You would technically have to place bets on every single other golfer to guarantee a win.
There'll be a lot of bets and a logistical headache.
It is impossible to cover all the bases with a simple hedge. The math just doesn't work. So keep your golf clubs for the weekend, enjoy watching the Masters, but keep them off your betting flip if you want guaranteed profit.
Got it. Golf is for playing, not for matched betting. Now, there is one sport that fell into a weird middle ground in our guides, a yellow light, if you will. Horse racing.
Ah, yes, the sport of kings.
It seems like it would be popular for betting, right? That's basically why the sport exists, but our findings say it's complicated.
It is. Matched betting is possible on horse racing, but it is exponentially harder than an NFL game. It involves a technique called dutching.
Dutching. That sounds like a jump rope game. What is it in this context?
It's a mathematical strategy named after Dutchy Schultz, a mobster from the Prohibition era, supposedly. It essentially means betting across a wide range of outcomes to ensure a profit regardless of which one wins. In a horse race, you might have 8 or 10 horses running. You can't just bet on one horse and hedge against the rest easily.
So what do you do?
You have to identify a subset of horses that are likely to win, and you have to calculate the exact stake for each one so that no matter which of those horses wins, your profit is exactly the same.
That sounds like a lot of math.
It is a lot of math. You absolutely cannot do this in your head. You need specific calculators. And even then, you run the risk that a long shot, a horse you didn't bet on, comes out of nowhere and wins.
Then you lose everything.
Correct. It's higher risk, higher complexity, and there is another catch too, availability.
Oh, right. Not every state allows it.
Exactly. Horse racing operates under different laws than sports betting in the U.S. Only certain states have live horse racing and the legal framework for online betting on it. So you have a smaller pool of opportunities, higher complexity, and far more time required.
So if you're just starting out, maybe stick to the NBA or NFL until you really know what you're doing.
I would agree. Walk before you run. Or gallop, in this case.
Nice. Okay, so we've got the rules. We know what to bet on. Stick to the binary sports. We know what to avoid. The three-way markets like soccer. But I'm listening to this and thinking, I'm a normal person. I have a job. I have a life. How am I supposed to keep track of all this?
It's a very valid concern.
You know, checking odds, finding the promos, making sure I'm not accidentally betting on a sport that ties. It feels like a lot of admin work.
It is. If you tried to do this manually, scanning every sports book, calculating the hedge stakes on a napkin, reading the fine print on every promo to see if ties are voided, it would be a full-time job.
Yeah.
And likely a stressful one because one typo destroys your profit.
So how do we make it not that?
This is where the tooling aspect completely changes the game. You mentioned Profit Duel earlier. The entire reason platforms like that exist is to solve this specific friction. We built these tools to take the manual labor out of it.
What kind of tools are we talking about? Is it just a calculator?
It starts with a calculator, but it's more about the search engine. We have bespoke software that scans the market in real time. It looks for those instances where the odds at book A and book B align perfectly.
So it does the shopping for you.
Exactly. It says, hey, there's an NBA game tonight. DraftKings has the Celtics at these odds. FanDuel has the Heat at those odds. If you bet here and here, you break even and unlock your $200 bonus.
That removes the whole searching for a needle in a haystack problem.
Right. And then once you find the bet, you have the math problem. How much do I bet on each side? We have tools like the Dutch Matcher and the Promo Converter. You punch in your numbers and it tells you exactly. Bet $52.50 on the Heat.
That removes the human error element, which is probably where most people mess up.
Absolutely. And then there is the education piece. We talked about how soccer is different in the U.S. versus Europe. Having a training library that explains these concepts with step-by-step video guides is vital so you aren't flying blind.
And the community aspect, too. I think that's huge. It's not just software. It's kind of like isolation insurance.
No, it's people. We offer one-on-one calls with experts. There are communities on Facebook and Discord.
That's cool. So if you're stuck or just want to celebrate a win, there's someone actually there.
Being able to chat with other bettors, see what strategies are working for them, and get reassurance from an expert, it changes the experience from a solitary math problem to a shared side hustle.
And the goal here, the promise, really, is consistency. We're not looking for a lottery ticket win. We aren't trying to predict the Super Bowl winner.
No, we're looking for boring, consistent monthly profits. Our members earning in the thousands, that doesn't come from a lucky guess.
Right.
It comes from sticking to the green light sports, using the tools to avoid mistakes, and treating it like a process, not a gamble.
It's amazing how much strategy actually goes into this. It really is matched betting uncovered. We've gone from, hey, this sounds cool, to realizing there's a very strict set of rules you need to follow to keep it safe.
And that is the key takeaway. The safety of matched betting isn't magic. It is logic. It is adhering to the binary outcome rule. If you respect the math respects you.
I really like that. If you respect the math respects you. So as we wrap this deep dive up, what is the one thing you want our listeners to walk away with today? We've covered the sports, the ties, the tools.
I would say this. While we spend a lot of time talking about sports, football, tennis, basketball, the real sport here is the math.
How so?
You don't actually have to care about the teams playing. You don't need to know who the quarterback is, who has the best serve, or who is injured. You are looking for efficiency in the market. You are playing the numbers, not the game. And there is something very liberating about that. You can completely profit from the Super Bowl without caring who wins.
That is a very provocative thought. The game isn't on the field, it's on the spreadsheet.
Precisely.
Love it. Well, that gives us plenty to think about. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.